Is it cheating? Is it cheating? Is it cheating? Is it cheating?
The other day I was browsing Reddit when I came across this post by user uPsycholos. Pretty much what this post shows is an inconsistency in PewDiePie's day counter on his hardcore world, meaning that in one episode his day counter was much higher than what it is in the next episode. To many people on the subreddit, this had meant that PewDiePie must have died at some point and cheated his world back. But is that the full truth? How do we actually know, and is there any real way for us to tell? Well, today we're going to look at all the evidence and come to a solid conclusion on whether PewDiePie actually cheated or not. Now, before we can come to any conclusions, we need to look at the evidence provided. In his original Minecraft series, PewDiePie barely used his debug or F3 menu. But in his hardcore world, he opens it at least once every few episodes, and using the debug menu, we can see something called the day counter. Now, the day counter, according to the Minecraft wiki, displays the number of in-game days the player has been in the world. So on the first day that you create a world, the day counter will be at 0, and as you play, the counter will increase 1 day per day-night cycle. So why does this matter? Well, if we take a look at PewDiePie's debug menu over his hardcore series, we begin to see something interesting. In his first video, we can clearly see that he is on day 1, which makes sense because it's his first day in the world, but things begin to get fishy after this. In his third video, we can see that he is only on day 2, but how can that be when he played through at least 2 to 3 day cycles in his second video? He should be at least at day 4 or 5 by now, right? Jumping forward a bit, we see that in his 7th episode, he is now on day 32, which does fit the timeline, and a few episodes later, he is now at day 201. But suddenly on his live stream, he's back down to day 45, which should signify that he had died sometime in between, and finally in his most recent video, he's somehow only on day 5, which means he must have died again. So, according to this evidence, we can make the conclusion that PewDiePie must have died not only once or twice, but at least 3 times so far in this hardcore world. But that's not the whole story. Many of you at this point, including myself, are probably a little skeptical. What if he had created a server between sessions? What if Optifying glitches out the day counter? Does the day counter actually show the total days spent in the world, and how could he even cheat in a hardcore world? So, to answer these questions, I did some testing of my own. The first thing that I did was load in a world that I had played on for at least a day, and test if opening a LAN would reset the counter. And I saw that the counter stayed the same. The next thing I did was take that same world and upload it to an actual server. Surprisingly, the player's day count does not get reset by this. And this is because the day count is directly related to your Minecraft UUID and the world file itself. So this option is off the table. In terms of Optifine, there really isn't anything that I could find that would lead me to believe that it messes with the day counter or that it would even affect it at all. So the next question is, does the day counter actually show the total days spent? Well, the short answer is yes. No matter where you are in the world, whether you're in the Nether or the End, no matter which chunk you're in, the day counter will be consistent in what it shows. So finally, if he did cheat, then how did he do it? How could PewDiePie die in a hardcore world and come back to it? Well, he actually has a couple ways to go about accomplishing this. The easier way to circumvent a death in hardcore is to begin spectating a world, opening up to a LAN server while allowing cheats, and then going back into survival mode. This method will let you continue to play hardcore, but surprisingly, the day counter doesn't actually reset. And the second option is to copy your world data and create a new world with the same copied data that you had from before you died. This method will also allow you to continue playing on the world, and again, surprisingly, the day counter will still stay the same. Both methods don't change anything about the world, and will even retain the items that the player dropped, but the day counter still stays the same. At this point, I was very confused. The evidence should show that PewDiePie cheated and died at some point, right? Well, according to everything that we've seen so far, even if you did die and cheat your hardcore world back, the day counter will stay the same as it was before. This means that PewDiePie probably didn't die, but if that's the case, then why did the day counters reset? After doing a bit of research, I've come to a fairly solid conclusion on what I believe is actually happening. I believe that before recording videos, PewDiePie uses the timeset command in order to start his recording at a specific time in the Minecraft day. And I think this because the timeset command will actually reset your day counter in-game. But why would you set the time? Well, when recording Minecraft videos, the hardest part is not actually recording it, but waiting around and getting things set up. If you don't have a bed on you, then it takes about 10 minutes for the night to end, or a few minutes for the weather to clear. And waiting around for the perfect recording conditions that you want can take a lot of time. And it's much more convenient to just set the time or weather to what you want and where you want it. So, in the end, did PewDiePie cheat? Well, yes. But from what I can tell, there's no real evidence that he died. The easiest solution to this problem is that before recording videos, PewDiePie opens to LAN, enables cheats, sets the time and weather to whatever he wants, and then starts his recording. So should we care? In my opinion, no. To many people watching this series, and knowing that he enabled cheats to set the right time might make the experience feel less genuine, or that it's staged or fake. And while part of me is inclined to agree with them, I think that PewDiePie just wants to produce the best content that he can for people. While I agree he could have simply slept in a bed or waited for the daylight, I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to his recording convenience. At the end of the day, I don't think that it matters if he cheated the time of day, because he's still creating content he enjoys and playing a game that we enjoy watching. And for that, I don't even really care for how genuine the actual gameplay is, because I'm grateful for what he is making. Seeing a content creator that I grew up with actually having fun in a game is somewhat of a rare sight nowadays, and I do think that besides the time command, PewDiePie is playing the game without cheating. At this point, I think we've solved the mystery on why the day counters are off, but going forward, it's going to be interesting seeing how his fans react to the situation. So before you go, be sure to leave a comment for what you actually think. Do you think that he died in his hardcore world, or do you agree with my conclusion? And do you care if he cheated the time of day? Finally, if you enjoyed my video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.